Hi, I'm Ashley.
I'm Mike.
We were married on January 9th at St. Peter's in Merchantville, New Jersey, and had our reception at the Marion in Cinnaminson, New Jersey. So we met online. He messaged me when he was deployed for one of his 2 weeks in Indiana. He was telling me he was bored. And
I didn't have a lot going on. Like, we were in just doing an army mission in Indiana and training, but like I only had my cell phone. We didn't have internet access or anything, so I had signed up on Match before I had left. So then I was like, I might as well like message people and get to know people and like see what's going on while I'm just here not doing anything.
And I was at a bachelorette, so I got that message Friday night, and I was like, who's saying he's bored? And I actually waited till Sunday when we got back to message him back. We started talking about Star Wars and desserts, and because he lived an hour and a half away, we decided to meet at a pop shop in Collingswood.
No.
The other one.
Medford
Pop Shop. And
it's in between both of us.
Yes. So we went there. We actually ordered the same exact thing, talked about desserts. We found out our dogs were both named Chewie in honor of Chewbacca. And then he went away the next day. And then we had another date a couple weeks later. And then I went away. And then we had another date, always in between. But we made it work. And then 4 years later, we're married now.
You both have dogs named Chewbacca?
Yes.
Yeah. My Chewie's adorable.
Mine is too.
I don't know, babe.
He's a little.
If we did a comparison, everyone's gonna take the mini husky over anything.
A little Shih Tzu. So I stressed out a whole lot up until I think even the week after the wedding. I know I contacted the vendors throughout the process, like what are the options? With all the restrictions that Murphy implied, he changed the curfew. We had to change our ceremony time once. We had to change the reception time 3 times, but we stuck with our original date. We sent out all 220 invites and figured if we have to make the cuts once they're in, we'll make them when they're in. But everybody who felt comfortable enough came. Who didn't feel comfortable enough, they stayed home. And afterwards, we're very fortunate, nobody actually got it. So I did all the planning.
I didn't research any.
And I think I looked about maybe 3-4 different vendors, and Damon was actually recommended. And then once I looked at his work, is what I really wanted. It was not so much of it was more us. So like that was one thing when my friends got married, they're like, make sure you get a great photographer. Your pictures are what you want to spend the most money on. And looking at Damon's portfolio, I knew I wanted him for everything, our engagement, our wedding, and things like that. So working with Damon was very easy, especially during a pandemic for me. So prior to the pandemic, we were able actually to sit down. I told him everything I wanted. I wanted parent books. I wanted photo albums for us. I wanted like what I wanted with time-wise, photographer-wise, where I wanted them. So we were able to like customize the package that worked best for us. And then the pandemic hit and Damon was still able to deliver everything we wanted and then more. Working throughout the process, I know we added the photo booth because somebody wanted a photo booth.
I feel like you need one at a wedding, obviously.
Which was very great. I wanted a videographer towards the end and emailed Damon and he was like, perfect, done. So we had that. We upgraded our photo album actually recently as well. We were able to have video conferences with Damon to discuss the day, the planning, the process. I emailed him multiple times and I feel very sorry for that sometimes because I always had different questions like what are we going to do if this happens? If we had to change our date, but we were going to get married on the same date, what would we do for the reception? He told us, don't worry, I'll be able to come to the ceremony. And then if we postpone the reception a year or months later, he would still be there. It would work out. So it was always a big relief. And I mean, we still moved on with our original date and it was great. So I knew when we got engaged. I knew he always said, oh, you're going to be the one that wants to do the pictures in the leaves. And how does it go?
Yeah, just throwing leaves in the air.
So because as we dated, we bonded over hockey, obviously. So I reached out to his season ticket rep to see if we can get pictures on the ice. And we were able to, but it was a lot of coordinating because we had to see what was available with the rink when there was no games, no performances, dry ice more or less, as well as what worked with Damon. So we were able to give dates based on Damon's schedule, and the rink was able to coordinate it. So of course the date we picked was in December, and it started to rain and snow and slush, and we all had to drive an hour and a half at Sunday night, like 6 o'clock. We had about 45 minutes on the rink. We brought our big German Shepherd with us, and Damon was right and ready to go. We took a bunch of pictures. Somebody carried the dog on the ice. We moved around in the seats, and as soon as we put them on the save the dates, everybody was amazed with these pictures. They couldn't believe that we got on the rink. They couldn't believe the quality. You know, of course, we have them hanging in our hockey den throughout the house as well.
Immediately after your dad gave me your hand, when he turned to go sit back into the pew, and he stepped on your veil, and yeah, it pulled your veil out from like your hair, but he also cartoonishly slid on it until he like righted himself and then got back into the pew.
Well, and the problem with the veil was it's my mom's veil from like those 80s hats. So what we did, we were able to take it and put like snaps on my new hair clips. So it was this cathedral veil that we had. And I think the best was nobody knew what to do with it. Yeah. I just kept walking up. My dad went and sat down. And then the best is like looking at the videos and the pictures. You see everybody gasping or like their heads up and like people making faces. And then like my one bridesmaid just pulled it in very nonchalantly.
We were probably supposed to like be walking forward, but I was just staring at your dad like slipping on this thing.
I think my favorite part, the funniest part was around 9:30. So it was a big party at that point. Everybody felt super comfortable. Once you got to the reception, you wouldn't know there was something going on outside of that place. Everybody was just normal and okay and had a great time. Well, somebody had a little too much fun. So around 9:30, after he was taking the wands and smashing them in everybody's face, he kept saying, he made a comment and we're like, oh, that's it, we need to go back to the hotel. And as soon as we got on the bus, he passed out and couldn't even rally. Once we got to the hotel, fell asleep in the bed. His friends kept saying, let's go, Maya, we're all here for you.
It's like a half-hour ride back to the hotel, by the way. Anybody would have fallen asleep.
But somebody couldn't even rally.
No, I was tired.
For his friends that haven't gone out in the past year and a half, and all he kept saying was,
so sleepy.
And just give me 8 minutes, not hours, not 10 minutes.
8 minutes is usually my rally time.
So, I mean, we hung out. He was sleeping in the bed, and by midnight, we kind of chased the party out into other rooms. So my reaction was immediately to text Mike. I texted my mom and his mom, just the
link.
The link afterwards. But I even remember thinking about it now. We went out to breakfast the day after, and Damon actually texted about like 10 pictures already as a sneak peek. And myself and our moms were just breathless. Like one picture was just you couldn't even pick what ones you would want down the road. Like we knew all of these pictures were going to be so hard to figure out what we would want to use and whatnot. From the church to us in the cemetery park to on the steps at the Marion to even just those little moments that nobody else saw but us, like sitting down laughing or us just dancing. So, and then even afterwards when we got the link and the video links, I mean, same thing. We already have pictures hanging. Our moms want our pictures. Like even like my aunts were like, oh my goodness, they couldn't believe just the quality and whatnot. I think my favorite, and I know our mom's favorites, are the one of us in the park with my mom's veil flowing. just that natural movement and the light and everything else is my favorite one. So we actually just recommended Damon Bilger wedding to a friend last night. They're getting married in September, and they were saying something like they finally found a venue with all the time frames and things like that being pushed back, and they need everything now. And we're like, wait, we have a great person in mind that does everything. And they looked him up, they saw him, took his name and number. So the reason why we recommend it, Damon Bilger wedding, was just how easy everything was. The amazing quality of the photos, the videos, the photo booth, and the turnaround. I know people that still don't have their albums from last year, and I'm already creating my album and finalizing everything and printing out pictures and sharing everything with our loved ones.
You were also able to show her like the week after, or like 2 weeks after, like we were at training with our dog, and like she was able to show her like, oh hey, you're getting married, like we just had these done.
Yeah.
And she was able to show like the quality.
And we also would recommend him for other services because we know he just doesn't do weddings. So we want to keep Damon Bilger weddings for our big moments as well as we continue to grow our family and hopefully use him for family portraits, maternity pictures, baby pictures, and I mean, who knows, even dog pictures down the road.
She's a champion. People don't know that about her.
She is a champion. I mean, for the experience for us was easy. It wasn't stressful in a time that is very stressful, and then throw a pandemic in, it even makes it 10 times more.
Accommodating.
Yes, very accommodating, never questioning everything, always working with you, and the quality is out of this world.
I mean, if you looked around this room, there's tons of proof that we enjoyed our photos.